Shalom, welcome to Root Source. I'm Gideon Ariel with my friend and partner Bob Odell behind the scenes in another episode of Root Source interviews and tours. We are touring around Judea, and today we are visiting in the biblical yet modern city of Tekoa, where Amos was active as a prophet. And we're meeting today with Dr. Edoardo Recanati. A little bit hard to say, but a little bit more exciting to hear his story. He is a Holocaust survivor who, as he told us before we started filming, was fascinated by the land of Israel, especially after the Six-Day War in 1967, and moved from Italy and a few other places to Israel, and finally ended up here on this mountain overlooking Bethlehem, Jerusalem, Gush Etzion, and Hebron. So we are going to say thank you very much, Dr. Recanati, for agreeing to meeting with us, and please tell us all about your fascination with this holy.
So first of all, I thank you for your interest in my discoveries. And I was telling Bob that I have read the Bible, both the old one and the new one. I know the gospel very well. Can teach a few Christians also. And I have read this in my life in 5 languages, mainly French, which used to be my mother language, my first mother language, or in Italian, in English. And I discovered then Hebrew, but on the way I also read it in Latin, which was one of the first translations with Greek, but also in ancient Greek. And I saw one main basic thing, that the text in Hebrew that I could understand, because now after 35 years that I'm in Israel, I can really say that I understand Hebrew. My children, if Abraham Avinu, our father, would come by, could have a conversation with him.
With our patriarch Abraham.
Yes, with our patriarch Abraham. So I noticed that the translation not only were not precise, that a translator, he makes a. But most of the time there was an interest to change the meaning according to different...
an ulterior motive.
Yeah, exactly. So, but the Bible is one. It has been dictated by God in Hebrew, which is also his language. He understands all the languages, And I started having problems, I give you one. When the Jews came out from slavery in Egypt,
yes,
and they crossed the desert, which is a purification process, God gave instruction to Moses to build a tabernacle, a tent, a big, huge tent, in which he would appear. But in the meantime, he gives to Moses the tablets of the law, the 10 commandments, with the fundament of the moral of almost all the civilized nations, but almost all of the other also. And those two, the first one, Moses broke them. He was a very angry man, and rightly so. He broke them, and then God gave another one, and they are inscribed with the finger of God.
That's what the Bible says.
Can you imagine? And he says to Abraham, this tablet... To Moses. You were talking about Abraham before. to Moses. That those tablets, so precious, he had to put it in a box, covered with gold, with cherubims on top, and put it in the Holy of Holies of the tent. of the tabernacle, and he promised to appear, not to everybody, but at least to Moses and the brothers Aaron, between those two creatures, cherubim, that we don't know exactly what they are. So that box is it's exciting. Can you imagine God appearing there, and inside there is something that he wrote with his own hand, and it was following the Jews through the desert and through all the wars of the conquest of Canaan, until the king Solomon put it in the first house, because the tabernacle was a tent, in the first house of God, the first temple in Jerusalem on the Temple Mount,
Yes.
which UNESCO says never existed. So I was wondering in which museum they can have put such a box. And I was talking to rabbis, and they say, we don't know where it is. What do you mean you don't know where it is? I'm sure that it has been told. It cannot be disappearing like this. It cannot have been destroyed or stolen. It has a self-protection, you know. You could not touch it, you know. There is a guy, when King David brings it to Jerusalem, his name was Uzzah. And he saw the ark doing like this on top of the chariot. He was afraid that it would fall. He was there, he stopped it, and he's stricken dead. Which is something, what, he's so angry? No, but that guy, I am sure today, sits on the right side of God, because he spent his life in order to show us the meaning of that. You cannot touch it, you cannot move it, you cannot take it around, you cannot seal it, you cannot, you know, it is a proof that after Solomon put it in the temple, it has never been moved from there. Wow. How is it possible? How can he have made it after a couple of 100 years? The Babylonian came and destroyed the temple and grabbed the everything which was precious, the gold and things like that. But, you know, we have not to forget that Solomon, when he sat on the throne of his father, he was 13. Bar mitzvah. You know what bar mitzvah is? Everybody knows it. It's a young child. You know, he sits there and God appears to him and says, tell me what you want, because now you are the king. And the little boy says to him, you know what? I have to rule among the Jews. 2 Jews make 5 opinions. So please give me wisdom to be able to be the king of the Jews. And God was so touched that he didn't ask for horses, for beauties, nothing. He says, I am going to make you wise as never anybody before, and even after you, nobody will be wise like you. And I give you also the horses and all the rich that you didn't. So this incredible intelligent machine that was king certainly found a way to put the ark in a place, but it is all auto-suggested, you know. He put it in a place that the Babylonians didn't see when they destroyed the temple, and therefore we can imagine it is still there. Everybody knows the wisdom of Solomon. He was still very young when the 2 mothers come and say, it's my baby. No, it's my baby. So he said, bring me a sword, we are going to cut it in 2. And immediately one of the women, who was the biological woman, was ready to lose the child as a child, but not the child to lose his life. And she, and Solomon said, okay, the baby is yours. Okay, let's come back to this smart guy. The details and the years that it took to me to find where the ark is